Hi everyone, it's Hiedi Scott with DIY Happy Sunday to you. I hope that you are having a lovely Sunday afternoon. Here in Atlanta, it is absolutely beautiful. It's like 55 degrees. The sun is shining. We just took our doggies for a little walk. And on today's live, I am going to do, I'm going to show you how to make some of those flowers that I talked about yesterday during the spring craft-a-thon. And I'm also going to show you some candle garters. And I'm really not sure what else. That's how I like to do my lives. I just like to see where I end up going. Anyways, as you're joining me, say hi. Let me know that you're watching. Tell me where you're watching from. If you're watching this on replay, I'd love to know that. You can put replay or hashtag replay. If you have questions, let me know that too. Like you want to know, where did you get that burlap or anything like that? Feel free to ask. And I have my phone pretty close to me, so I can probably see your comments today and actually answer them. So if you joined me yesterday at the Spring Craft-a-thon, I was out in our main family room. Most of the lives that I do here in my office. So that's why the background looks a little bit different. And I'm still playing with the lighting and all that kind of business. But, okay, so what are we gonna see today? Well, the first thing we're gonna see is I'm gonna show you how to make these little candle garters. Now these coordinate with the carrot banner that I have out in my family room that you could see in the pictures, and I will also post some pictures in the comments of that carrot banner. So here's one. Here's another one that I just swapped out. It did have a heart on it for Valentine's Day, but I just put this little flower with a piece of encyclopedia paper and a button made out of bone and a little bit of twine on there. Isn't that cute? And here's another one that I did. Whoops, where am I? It's very similar to this one. These two don't have the reinforced Dollar Tree cookie tin in them. But anyways, okay, so where do you start? Well, the first thing you need to get is some kind of raffia, or not raffia, excuse me, some kind of burlap ribbon that you can use to go around the back of your candle. And you're just gonna hot glue that. And I just realized mine is not here on my desk, so I'm gonna grab it. It's right here. I believe that I picked this up at Target in the $1 bin. I think this is what it looks like. And it's wired, so it's really nice to work with. So the first thing you're gonna do, we're gonna actually do this, and then we'll do, whoops, and then we'll do these flowers, okay? So let me move my props out of the way. All right, I have a ton of stuff here on my desk. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just take how much we want and wrap it around this candle. And let me tell you a secret. Sometimes your candles get stains on them. So you know where I'm gonna put this piece of burlap ribbon? I'm gonna put it exactly over the stain, okay? And I'm just gonna hot glue it. Super easy. Let me see how fat your tummy is, Mr. Candle. Okay, and this does not have to be perfect, and it could be whatever kind of ribbon you have or whatever appeals to you. It's completely up to you. We're also going to do our embellishment right here on that spot where the stain was. Okay. I have been doing these little candle garter things for a long time. I usually swap them out in my house for every new season. I did teach one Facebook live on it, and it was fun. So, okay, so this is what we have, and we have two choices. We could either take, like these were the hearts that I cut out with my heart punch and the Dollar Tree cookie sheet. For those of you that didn't join us yesterday or haven't seen very much of me, this is my most favorite crafting ingredient. It's a cookie sheet, a cookie pan from the Dollar Tree. You get 2 of them for 50 cents, okay? Then I have these 2 punches that I'm in love with. This one, it's a 3-inch, and this one, it doesn't say, but I think it's 2.5 inches. And you just put your cookie tin into your punch, press it, and voila, okay? So we could use this. We could go ahead and hot glue that on here. Yeah, let's do that because you've seen the other style. Okay, so now that stain that I had is completely gone. It's hidden forever. All right, then we have lots of options about what we want to do with it. We could take one of these little heart or flower things that we punched out with our smaller punch, and we could hot glue that on there. Or we could add a little ribbon of some sort, like, what do I want to use? Like a little, I'm showing everything in orange because I'm obsessed with orange right now. We could put something like that on it and then hot glue this on and then do an orange button. Or we could do one of these flowers that I'm going to show you momentarily, and we could glue that on there. That would be kind of cute. What do you guys think? Hey Nancy, hey Debbie, hey Patty, thank you guys for sprinkling. I forgot to mention that. I appreciate that. Okay, the punches came from Hobby Lobby. I was told yesterday that they were 50% off yesterday. I don't know if they're still, well, is Hobby Lobby open on Sundays? I'm not sure. I kind of don't think they are. But you could check on Monday and see if they're still 50% off. When I bought mine, they were 40% off. Even if they're not on sale, you can always use that one-time 40% off coupon on one of those punches. Hey from Michigan. Hey Dale. Hey Michelle. Oh, hey Leanne, you're a first timer. Yay. So what do you guys think? Oh, and here's another one from Georgia. I'm in Georgia too. I'm in Alpharetta. Where are you? Oh, somebody says, no, they're not, Hobby Lobby is not open on Sundays. That's what I thought. It's like Chick-fil-A. So if you plan to craft on the weekend, on Sunday, you know, you need to plan ahead and pick up your supplies on Saturday. Okay, so what should we do? Should we do one of these little funky little flowers? I think that's what we should do. And I'll tell you how I made this. But I'm going to put it inside of one of these little tiny flowers that we just punched, and then you bend up the edges. And I'm going to put a whole bunch of glue in this to hopefully hold this funky little orange. Okay, so this is what I have. Whoops. You can see I just glued it into the inside of this. You're in Southeast Georgia, about an hour from Savannah. Oh, hey, and there was somebody else from Michigan on, and there's a gal from Loganville, Georgia, and there's a girl from Hinesville, Georgia. So, yay, Georgia. Georgia really, in case you've never visited Georgia, it's an awesome state. I love living here. We moved here like 21 or 22 years ago from Seattle, and before that, I grew up in Idaho. So, I'm a long ways away from home, but I love Georgia. Okay, so I'm just going to put some hot glue on the back of this little puppy and stick it on there. What do you think? I think that's pretty darn cute and pretty darn creative. Now, here's a tip. When you're sick of this, you can most likely just pull this tin piece off and your little burlap ribbon will stay on your candle. There'll be a blob where the hot glue was, but you can just glue something new on there. So, and you could bend all the edges of this up if you wanted, but for time's sake, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to show you how to make those burlap flowers, okay? But you know, before I do that, I do want to show you a few combinations that you could do if you want to do those stacked flowers. And then you can either put them around a candle, like this one. Where am I? Or you can put a magnet on the back of them, and then they'll stick to any metallic thing that you have. And I just use these little button magnets. Or you can put them on one of these little clippies, which is what I did with this one right here. And then you can just clip them onto whatever you want. It doesn't have to be metallic. It could be a clipboard, it could be a notebook, could be just about anything. So, okay, so when you're doing these, whatever you want to, I don't know what to call them, little tin flowers or little tin flower button magnets, I don't know. If you have a good suggestion, I haven't quite figured out what to call them. But anyways, when you're doing those, let me just give you a few steps. It's great if you can start with a piece of tin on the back, because that gives it some sturdiness to stand up. And then you can just start layering. Can you guys see my hands? Anything you want. Like you could do a piece of burlap that you've sort of cut out roughly in the shape of a little flower. Then you could layer another little piece of drop cloth that's cut out in the shape of a flower. Then, if you want to get really creative, you can pretend like there's two little petals. I cut these just in the shape of a leaf. And you would just, as you're going along, you're going to hot glue everything down. I cut those out of this kind of burlap ribbon. And this is going to surprise you, but this came from Kroger. They have a new dollar section at Kroger. And this was $2, I think. And it's my second one that I purchased. I love this color. So you could do that. Then we could add a little bit of this orange that I'm loving. And then we could add a little paper, like one of those paper flowers that I love so much, like this, they're just pieces of paper from my favorite vintage encyclopedia. My grandma, her name was Mamu, she left me all her books. And they've just been sitting there. I have like 3 big volumes of this gorgeous encyclopedia with all these beautiful illustrations on them. They've just been collecting dust. So this year I decided to pull them out and to use them and to make pretty things for myself and for other people. I think my Mamu would be okay with me cutting and tearing up those vintage dictionaries as long as I was doing something good with them. So I used, just my small punch. Where are you? To make this one. We could add that. And then, oh my gosh, I love buttons. I don't know, do you guys love buttons? Hello, first time catching you live. I saw you. Oh, you saw me on the Spring Craftathon. Yay. And there's my friend Diane. Hey, Diane. Hey, Rachel. Hey, Tony. Hey, Elizabeth. So I have a thing for vintage buttons, especially mother of pearl ones, which my supply is getting low. So I'm going to have to go somewhere and start looking for buttons again. Whoops. So you could add something like that to it. Let me show you what that looks like. Can you get the gist of it? Or you could do an orange button, which is, I think is what I would like on this better. Let's see if I can possibly hold it up at all so that you can see. This reverse image thing still confuses me so much. Oh, Leanne says that she loves buttons. Cynthia says beautiful. So I could glue all this together, and then on the back of it I could glue either one of these little clippies or a magnet, or I could put it on some of this burlap and wrap it around a candle. So lots of options. But for right now I'm gonna not glue that together, although it did turn out so cute. I think I probably will do that when I'm done. Let me show you how to do the burlap flowers now. Okay, and I need to clear a little space here to work. So let's see, give me a smiley face in the comments if you were part of the Spring Craftathon yesterday. If you watched any of the presenters, I was on at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. I think I was number 6 or 7. And there were 36 different presenters. It was an amazing event. And the summer one has already been scheduled. I believe it's June 9th, but don't quote me on that. So I'm hoping that Melanie will, she's the organizer, that she'll let me participate in that coming up in June too, because I have tons of great summer stuff. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so give me some hearts or some smiley faces if you were watching the Spring Craftathon. Okay, so how do you make these flowers? There's 2 different styles. Let's see. Okay, there's this one that are just loops. Can you guys see that? Let me get my fingers out of the way. They're just loops with a big button in the center. And then there's this style. Okay? So they both start exactly the same. The only difference is after you do the loops, you just cut all the loops of burlap in half, and you end up more with this one. Which last time I showed how to do this, I hadn't found colored burlap yet, and I hadn't started putting things on magnets. I hadn't started doing candle gardeners. It's funny how things evolve, but all these guys are saying it was a great event. You know what? I will post, Debbie says, how do we find out about the summer one? I will share all the details as it gets closer. Whether Melanie allows me to participate or not, it's an amazing, amazing event. So I want you guys to all be able to watch that. Okay, so I was saying that it's amazing how things evolve, how you learn how to do something and then you figure out 12 different things that you can do with it. So let me tell you a couple things about this. They start from this 6-inch wide burlap in whatever color you have. It's not super great quality. It doesn't have to be. And how thick this part will be right here depends on how many strands you take out of your burlap before you start rolling it. So, like this one right here, I took some of the center ones out. I'll show you how you do that. If I left it this wide, that would have a really thick base to it. Like even thicker than this one. But I like them when they lay a little flatter. And I'm working on 2 projects for my son's wedding that both came from my Goodwill. So they were both super bargains. I cleaned them up. I'm going to stencil them, and I'm going to add some of these pretty burlap flowers on them. And I want them to be more flat. So I think I'll probably get that all worked out tomorrow, and that will be the live that I'll be doing first off tomorrow morning. And then I'll do another live later in the day on something or other. I'm not sure what. Okay, so to get this started, you're just going to cut your burlap however big you want it. If you want a big flower, you're going to cut a long one. This is probably 16 or 18 inches long. If you want a smaller flower, you're going to cut a smaller piece, shorter, okay? And then you just start in the center. The first couple that you pull out are tricky, but after that, it's a piece of cake. You just start in the center and you pull out a string. And you keep doing that. And for me, the easiest way to do that is to lay it down. Can you guys see my hands okay? Can you? Let me scooch them back just a little bit. And to just hold it down and just start pulling these out. Okay, so I said I want this one to be flatter, not with such a thick base. So I'm going to pull out almost all of the strings, and then I'll show you how we get it started and how you roll it. This, pulling these strings out of this is oddly satisfying. I don't know, it's the weirdest thing, but if you're watching TV or not really reading a book, but anytime you're just sitting and doing not much with your hands, it feels good to pull strings out of burlap, so try it. And you can get this burlap everywhere. This that I'm working on right here came from Walmart, and so did my orange. They both came from Walmart. Back in the ribbon and fabric section. Okay, so I have this side pretty skinny. Do you see what I mean right here? So I'm going to pull a few more out of the other side. So these little flowers are pretty darn cute, and they cost hardly anything. This was much bigger when I first got it, and it was $4.88 at Walmart. I could make 100 flowers out of this. Wow, that's great and fun. I'm new to your page. Oh, Linda, I'm so glad. And she said she shared it. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Sandy's here, and she's from Australia. So what time is it there? It must be like 10 hours ahead or something, I would think. Here in Georgia, it is, oh gosh, I didn't fix my clock. I think it's, what does it say? It's either 2:15 or 4:15. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't change my watch yet. Okay, and hey, before I go further, you definitely want to hang on to these because you can make all kinds of things with these, from tassels. So what I do when I pull all my strings out is I'll just put them so they're all about the same length, and then I'll just tie a little loose knot in them and stick them in a drawer, and then I can pull them out and use them for something else. So this part of the project is almost cooler than the other part. Seems like I used them on something. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so don't throw it away. Okay, so the first step is, I'm going to cut this long one off that's not connected anymore. You're basically just going to fold it in half and glue the two sides together. You just need a little dab of glue. You can do this without gluing them together, but it does make it a little bit easier, especially when you're getting started. So one of the crafts yesterday from the Spring Craftathon that I am seriously motivated to learn how to do were those felt flowers that Cheryl did. It was towards the end of the evening, like maybe 7 o'clock or something. And also I loved all those little pouches made out of burlap that people put flowers in and decorated. Oh my gosh, there were so many great ideas. What did you guys love? What were your favorites? How did you ever think of doing this? Okay, so let me tell you guys how I thought of doing these burlap flowers, because it's a good story. Not really. So I am not a sleeper, unfortunately. For some reason, my body wakes me up at about 3 o'clock every middle of the night. And I used to lay in bed and just start worrying about things and people that I love. And then I would pray, which I still do that. But then I'd just find myself going down this worry hole, getting worse and worse and worse. So I decided to, what does the Bible say? Take your thoughts captive and make them obedient to Christ. I decided to do that. And also I decided to take my thoughts to Pinterest. So frequently when I'm awake at 3 in the morning, after I've, thought about what I needed to think about and prayed about who I needed to pray about, I'll open my iPad and I'll go to Pinterest, and then I'll just let it take me wherever I go. I'll click on something, then I'll click on something, then I'll click on something, and then I have a little notebook and I'll sketch ideas. So usually I see a project and it just gives me an idea. I hardly ever completely copy a project because I take what I see and I make it my style, the DIY dreaming style, using the things that I have. And so I hope you guys do that too. So if you love bright colors, then but you like the ideas for these projects, you can totally run with the ideas and make them your own using your own choice of fabrics, materials, you know, that kind of thing. So that's how I saw this project. Let me cut off this one long thing. Okay, now the hardest part, see how it's all glued together, is just getting it started. And you're gonna literally just roll it. So I'm gonna roll it a couple rolls. And you wanna roll it tight, but it doesn't have to be neat. Ooh, that's hot. Once you get it going, then you can hold it in your hands and it's easier. I'll show you. I'm seeing another. Okay, so I have the roll started, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little dab here and there, and I am just going to start rolling and pinching it as you're going along. Oh, Linda says that's what she does too. Okay, Trace is asking, what are we making today? We are making this kind of a flower. I've showed you how to do this one, and we're gonna do it in orange also. And I'm showing you how to make them the different heights. And then we made, well, I had made this little orange thing before. I showed you how to do some candle garters. And I think I will give you a sneak peek of the projects that I'm working on for tomorrow, because they involve these flowers. And I can hardly contain myself usually. I can't, I'm not patient, and so I'll get something going and I'll usually have to show it to people before it's even finished. Are you guys like that? I'm rolling it along the side where I glued the two pieces together. Okay, that's what Duranda said. Oh, your home is beautiful. Thank you so much. It's a mess. But it's comfortable. Okay, we're getting there. I'm sorry this has taken so long and I'm just jabbering on. This is going to be a bigger flower than what I've made before because I cut the piece of 6-inch burlap really long. So you want to continue pinching it really tight. Melissa, I used to wake up at 3:30. You started thinking about everything and everyone in the family. You're 64 and I can't read the rest of it. And I'm so not great with technology. I'm afraid if I touch that to see more that I'll turn myself off or something. But Melissa, I'll read your comment when we get off. Melody, first time watching, yay! Okay, you guys that missed the beginning of the project, when we're all done, just go back into my video feed and watch it from the beginning. If you want to. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is a good project. And it's a really super cheap project. And it's pretty creative. I think, I mean, if you make some of these, people are going to say, wow. Like somebody before was asking me, how did you ever think to do that? Like, oh, I don't know. You know, I'm just creative. And I just spent some time at Pinterest. Okay, so this is what you end up with. And I'm just teasing. I wouldn't really say that. Okay, now the trick here is to kind of open it up and figure out where you're going to split it so that it has about equal amounts of the little loops. I'm loop heavy right here. Okay, and then you're just going to basically push that down. And choose a button. For this, you do need a button. I got some of my metal buttons out to play with today. Your husband has a tin can filled with sugar packets on the counter. Oh, the garter would be great on it. Yes, that would. Oh, and there's another first timer. Oh, I'm so glad you're with me today. This is a super easy craft. And I alternate I don't want people to get bored with what I do, so I'll do a painting project, I'll do a wood project, I'll do a stenciling project, I'll do a burlap or felt project. I like to mix it up, and I like as often as possible to have Bible verses and scripture and stuff be part of it. Okay, so this is what we have. And I got out some of my metal buttons. I have a collection of those too, and I thought I'd just fiddle around to see how any of those would look. If you like bling, you could use some of these vintage buttons that have rhinestones on them. That's not really my style, although I think it's super cute. I probably would be more inclined to do a, go back to my first love. This is how I fell in love with buttons, were these mother of pearl buttons. Ooh, and I love these ones that look like this. Let's see. I still think I want white, so that's what I'm going to use. And they don't have, these are not valuable, just so you know. When I go to like antique fairs, I always look for a button lady, and there always is a button lady. And antique malls, there's places where you can buy jars of buttons too. So I'm just going to put a big blob of hot glue in the center and stick my button on and push it down, and voila. And this is pretty narrow, okay? So, I don't think you want to sit and watch me do a whole nother one, because it's basically the same thing. I want to show you this, and then before I do that, I want to give you a little preview of what I'm working on, why I want to use these. So hang on. The full details will be on the DIY Dreaming tomorrow. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little stencil that says "Pray More, Stress Less" on this little frame. This came from Goodwill. It was 99 cents. Somebody had written like little baby names or something all around the edge of it. It was this beautiful barnwood. So I used my favorite paint, Biscuits and Gravy, just to cover that up, and then I sanded it. And I'm going to stencil this in the center of it, and then I'm going to put a little flower of some sort, I'm not sure, on one of the corners. Okay, that's one thing. And then this is the other thing that I'm working on. I got this. It looked terrible, and it was $2.99, I think. And I'm going to use this at my son's wedding. But before that, I'll probably use it for Easter. So I made this stencil that says "He is Risen." I purchased this artwork from a lady on Etsy. And then I have one of these handy dandy machines, which I'll tell you about in a future live. I have one of these machines that is called an Icon Art Custom Stencil Maker. So I can make my own stencils with whatever I want on them. And I did this one that says "He is risen," Matthew 28:6. I may put that on there with some of this chalk paste that's in a creamy ivory color. And then I may put some of my little buttons in the corners. And then for the wedding, I was fiddling around with some apps on my iPad this morning. And I think I'm going to make a stencil that says "Madison Noah Scott, established 5/2/20." And I'll stencil something like that on it. I'll have to make the stencil for that. But anyway, so that's just a little sneak peek at what's coming up. Okay, and then the last thing I want to tell you, and then I'll get off, because boy, I've really talked a long time. Several people on the, do you have a small cross? I sure do. I have several. Wait, who was that? Sandy O'Donnell. I have several raw wood small crosses, and oh my gosh, there's so many things I could do with that, with all of this business. Yeah, I get so many ideas from you guys. Sandy, I'm going to do that for sure. I'm going to dig them out. I have 3 or 4 of them. They're a little cheesy looking because they're just that thin pine wood, but I know I could dress them up and make them really special. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, several ladies during the Spring Craft-a-thon said that they really didn't like the fact that we were so rushed. We had 20 minutes, each one of us. And I said, well, you know, I'm only rushed today. When I'm on my own page on DIY Dreaming doing my own thing, I can take my time. So, but I don't usually take this much time. So I'm sorry if you're getting bored. Anyways, the last thing I wanted to show you was you can also make, I call these busy bows. They're a combination of strips of burlap in different colors. And then I added some of my favorite ribbon from Walmart, $4.88, and you just kind of put them crisscross. And then I put 2 little pieces of tin in here, a book, oh, that's some more ribbon and a button and some twine. And then on the back I have one of these little silver things and a magnet. So you can take this idea and make an endless amount of different projects for different things. And so that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you got some good ideas. Please take these ideas and make them your own. Use them for your own crafting, for your own gift giving, for your own decorating your own home, and make them your style. And I will either be back later tonight or first thing on Monday with lots more craft projects to show you that are quick, because I have a short attention span, that are super easy, that are affordable. That's important. I like to reuse things whenever possible and use what I already have, that are sometimes a little unusual, like they have book pages and cookie sheets in them, and I've used all kinds of crazy things. And what's the last thing? Oh, that require no artistic abilities or crafting abilities. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.